of Nursing, Governor Youngkin, President Rao, esteemed guests in the front, esteemed students in the front, my dear colleagues and faculty members, staff members, thank you all for being here today. I am Patricia Kinzer, the interim dean for the school, and I'm honored to host you here in our school's Clinical Learning Center. This is where our nurse practitioner students and our nursing students engage in active learning to prepare them to become leaders in delivering high-quality, compassionate healthcare. Today's proclamation highlights the essential role nurse practitioners play in our communities. We stand in support of NPs who make a meaningful difference in the lives of Virginians every day. Myself, I'm a proud graduate of VCU School of Nursing's Nurse Practitioner program many years ago. I'm a board certified nurse practitioner. And as some of you know, Governor Youngkin's mother is an alum and was a faculty member here at the school. And Governor, you may be interested to know that Dr. Youngkin's textbook was required reading from my nurse practitioner degree, so this was on my shelf. I have one on my shelf. So I'm pleased to introduce you all to our nurse practitioner student, Megan Huntley. Megan is a registered nurse on the Progressive Medicine Unit at VCU Health and a commissioned Nurse Corps officer in the Naval Reserve. In honor of Veterans Day yesterday, we all thank you for your service. Megan is pursuing a Doctor of Nursing practice degree with a concentration as a family nurse practitioner with an expected graduation in May. Megan, I welcome you to share a few words with us.
Thank you, Dr. Kinzer. Good morning, everyone. When I became a registered nurse in 2015, I had high aspirations for where my efforts would take me. I dreamed and truly believed I could help make the world a better place by positively impacting patients and their families on an individualized basis during the daunting days of unexpected hospital admissions. I stand here today, a much more educated, evolved, and empowered version of myself. With over 7 years of acute care nursing experience, 2 mobilizations as a commissioned officer in the United States Navy, and an upcoming graduation with my DNP degree in May, I am continuously reminded of the honor and privilege we have to continue to show up each day, extend dignity, provide exceptional care, and encourage and support patients as they take an active and informed role in their own health and well-being. Coming through the COVID-19 pandemic served to highlight critical challenges that impact our ability to provide services in the ways we have become accustomed. We must acknowledge the need for and commit to the hard work that will be demanded of each of us as we move forward with transformational change. Being a member of the vibrant learning community at VCU has more fully equipped me to face the road ahead with confidence, perseverance, and a deepened investment to collaborate effectively with others and be a part of that enduring change. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome VCU's president, Dr. Michael Rao, to the podium.
Thank you, Megan. I better get this ready because I'll be introducing someone who's even taller than me. Megan, thank you. And Megan, we're so proud that you are a VCU student and soon to be graduate here in the spring. And Megan is the evidence of how great things will be in the future and how great people will be in the future. I think we all have enjoyed having an opportunity to spend some time with you downstairs. And great to get to know you. And thank you for your service to VCU as well and to our country. We're very grateful for you. I also want to take a moment to recognize some members of the team that the governor's brought. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Janet Kelly, one of the finest Virginians I have ever known. Just an incredible contributor. I have known Janet for 15 years. I can tell you a lot of things that Secretary Kelly has done. Oh, don't laugh. They're all great things, and they have impacted Virginians' lives in positive ways. And Secretary of the Commonwealth, Kelly G., I think is maybe, I wanted to just simply say thank you for her role in acknowledging this week.
For boards.
That's a big job, but she's also acknowledged this week. Thank you. And Delegate Coiner, thank you also for being here. And many thanks to your entire family for your great contributions to VCU, and in particular, VCU Massey Cancer Center. You and your family have been incredible, and we love all of you. Thank you so much. And Dean Kinzer, thank you so much for your great leadership and some of the bold moves that you've made that I'll talk about in just a minute. And of course, it's just a complete honor to always welcome Governor Glenn Youngkin back to VCU. I hope the trip was smooth and
Very long.
yeah. So the governor and I, as you now know from Dean Kinzer's words, both of our moms were nurses, and Governor Youngkin's mom, of course, was a faculty member here. We're honored by that, and I know she's so proud of you, and we're both proud of her. And I'm certainly proud of my mother, too, because I grew up with someone who provided a lot of care to a lot of people in really complex situations. And what it did for me is create a level of empathy that drives me every day in the work that I do. And so we both have witnessed tremendous commitment and dedication of our moms in their lives. And we also know that the work that they do is absolutely critical to saving people's lives, improving people's lives, but it's also inspiring. And that's the inspiration that has inspired this annual proclamation to honor nurse practitioners here in November. We were talking downstairs about the time during the pandemic when, unusually for a university president, we were losing nurses very rapidly because they were nervous and very, very concerned about their health and safety. And so I remember spending a lot of time with them, and the compassion I saw, the empathy that I saw, the willingness to do anything to help keep people on track in their lives was really just incredible. And I'm very, very honored that we have so many nurses and nurse practitioners who impact people's lives so positively. So next year is the 50th year anniversary of our nurse practitioner program here at VCU. And you're a nurse practitioner as well, Dean Kinzer, and proud of that. We have now 300 nurse practitioner students enrolled in our school. And, you know, I do want to say that that's important, but I also want to say that without our nurse practitioner faculty, we couldn't do what we do. And a dedicated group of folks, and I'm very, very proud of them. I also want to say on behalf of the university how proud we are that our students have pretty close to a 100% pass rate for board certification. Not every program or school can say that. I'm really, really pleased. So let's talk for a moment about a real challenge that's coming up, and that real challenge is we know there's a shortage. There's a shortage of all kinds of programs, but certainly nurse practitioners. And so we're headed into this. We know that we need more than 30,000 APRNs every year for the next 10 years just to keep level with where we are. So we've got some work to do, and we're working very hard to address these workforce shortages. So really pleased that we'll almost double our undergraduate enrollment this coming year. Very excited about that. Thank you, Dean Kinzer, for your leadership there. The other thing that we're going to do is something that we talked about downstairs. When my mother was nursing, she also was in a situation with me as a single mom because my father had just died, unfortunately, and I was a little kid and she had to take care of me. But she wanted to advance and become a nurse practitioner, and she couldn't do it very easily because the programs were so rigid. So not that I've influenced this, but I am glad to be able to say that VCU will be adjusting its curriculum so that really busy nurses are able to fit courses into their lives and become nurse practitioners. I think that's really important. Given what I remember my mother going through and struggling through how she's going to get this course or that course done. But, you know, it's about educating the next generation. But you know what all of this is? All of this is really about adapting to the changing needs of people and patients and people who need care. And that is rising every day. So I'm really, really pleased that we're doing that. Governor Youngkin, I want to say the state has been just an incredible partner in all of the things that we're doing, supporting us, funding us, giving us resources that we would otherwise not have. You and our legislature have been incredible. And the support for VCU is just really unmatchable. And I do want to say, you personally, you and I have talked about these things over and over and over, how you make the time that you do for all of these things at so many different levels, but you've been a great governor and still are. And I do want to say, too, that your Chief of Staff, then Secretary Littell, really was very helpful with us. And I think you all know how I feel about Secretary Kelly and how she's continued that incredible support. So you share a tremendous sense of empathy for people that we've talked about, and you care about healthcare. You're an advocate for healthcare. And the other thing I'm proud to say that we both share is a tremendous sense of concern for people and their mental health. And I want to thank you for that as well. So now it's my honor to welcome Virginia's 74th governor, called His Excellency, with pride, Governor Glenn Youngkin.
Well, good morning, everyone. I have to say, this is a special moment for me because not only am I with the most extraordinary collection of healthcare providers, but I look at all of you, and please take this in the affection that it is meant. I see my mother in all of you. And if you're a male, I see my mother in you too. It just is a moment where I'm going to share with you a little bit of the impact that my mom had on my life, very much like President Rao's mom, but also to have a week where we are able to proclaim that nurse practitioners play a role in our healthcare system that is unmatched. The breadth that you can provide, coupled with the depth of empathy, and as my mother constantly demonstrated, direct instruction, it is unique. It is unique. And we look across our Commonwealth today, and we see nurse practitioners doing extraordinary things. I have to say, we just re-elected a nurse practitioner to Congress in Congresswoman Jen Kiggins. And it was so much fun to be with Jen so much over the last 4 years, and to see, yes, a Navy pilot, and yes, a mother, and a wonderful spouse, and a spectacular Congresswoman. But at the heart, she's a nurse practitioner, and it's so much fun to see nurse practitioners everywhere. If I can, just for a minute, I just want to tell you a little bit about my mom and why this is such an important week for me. Because the story you just told about your mom constantly taking a class, that was my mom. So my mom was a nurse. She was the nurse's nurse. And I remember at St. Mary's Hospital where she worked, which is where I was born. And the reason why I was born there is because she worked there. But she was an obstetrics and gynecological nurse. And then she worked every night. She'd come home and take a class every night. And she worked on that nurse practitioner certificate. And that meant so much to her to do it here at what was MCV at the time. And I just remember seeing her every night. Coming home after a long day and studying. And then when she was granted the opportunity to be part of the faculty here, I remember her coming. She would take classes, how to practice, and would be teaching. And occasionally she would also balance the checkbook for our family. She would drive legislation in the General Assembly, and I will tell you, she was part of the original team that obtained prescription writing authority for nurse practitioners in the Commonwealth. She was part of the original team that decided that the best place to recruit next generation nurses was out of the military, and a lot of them were men. And she thought, well, this is really important that we, in fact, increase the gender diversity in nursing today. And she was also part of the team that started the very first distance learning in Virginia. And I remember her coming in on Saturday morning to this building, literally, and teaching classes that were either in Norfolk or in Roanoke. And they would have students who were part of the nursing program who would do the distance learning on the weekends and then show up once a month here. This was the beginning of meeting people where they are. And then I'm just so excited you have this book. I can't tell you the pain and suffering that I watched her go through in putting together what really is a book that's impossible to read unless it's you. And therefore, I tell you those stories, one, because I wanted to brag about my mom for a minute. But I also watched her keep a practice, and it was really important that she kept her practice. And she would go into communities where healthcare wasn't present, and she understood that there was this disparity in outcomes for women who were Black, or women who were Hispanic, or women who were impoverished. And that was something she believed so deeply in. And I just constantly am reminded when we do our work today how important this is to make sure that we address this. So thank you for giving me a chance to talk about my mom. So that gives me a chance now to talk about all of you. So nursing is at the heart of our healthcare system. And just to tell you another story, so I have a group that is a medical advisory team of leaders of the health systems and nurses and doctors, and we meet literally every week or every other week for an hour, and we talk about what's happening in healthcare and if there's an issue, particularly coming out of COVID. And I was hosting a retreat for us, and I said, what's the #1 profession that we need more of? And you go away and think about it. And heard from all of the senior folks in healthcare systems said, we need more nurses. We need more nurses. We need more nurses. And the challenge in nursing is the fact that we don't have enough preceptorships. Right? That's a problem. I heard that from one of the great nurses, Nancy Agee, who happened to be the CEO of Carillion Clinics for a long time. So some of you can go be presidents of big healthcare systems. But at the end of the day, we put together a nursing program to say, how do we, in fact, increase the number of nurses in Virginia? And two big pieces of this were really important. The first was to increase the funding for the preceptorships. So we created something called the Nurse Preceptor Incentive Program. We took funding from $1 million to $3.5 million. It's time. I watched my mom do her preceptorships, and she spent an enormous amount of time, and she didn't get paid anything for doing it. And I know that you have to take time away, and so now we've increased the amount that we can pay folks to mentor the next generation of great nurses and nurse practitioners. And the second thing that we felt strongly about as an advisory group to me was that we needed to create a pathway for nursing students or those LPNs that might want to become an RN to get paid to have work study. And so we created the Earn to Learn Nursing Accelerator program and funded it with $4 million so that nurses can do the same thing that my mother did and your mother did, which was have a practice and take classes and move your way along. And that was so important as well. Of course, what we see is the best of the best here. And President Rao, I know that you are a very humble person when it comes to bragging on your schools, but you know how fabulous this school is. You are one of the top 5 nursing schools in the nation. I mean, it's just spectacular to see not only the number of nurses, but the quality that come out of VCU. And it makes us all incredibly proud. And I look at the numbers of nurses that are produced and trained at this fabulous school and what you all go do. And we so out produce and out professional all the other states. Virginia has got a special spot in nursing, and MCV or VCU is at the heart of it. And so thank you all for what you're aspiring to do. I think the fact that nearly 100% of VCU test takers pass their licensing exams, I mean, that is an amazing statistic, and one one that all of you should feel very required to keep up. This is the way it works. It's just the way it works. Sorry to put a little pressure on you, but that's the way it works when you go to grade school. You carry it with you. And Dean Kinzer, I appreciate your leadership and the fact that today so many people in the professional world can candidly make more money and have more of an impact if they go and just do their job. And to have people step in and say, I want to teach, I want to be an administrator. Thank you. It's a huge statement. And all of you faculty members, thank you for all that you do in teaching these. I do want to just, again, thank Delegate Corner. I have to say, she and I and the secretary and the whole team, we work a lot on healthcare topics together. And she's passionate, and she does not take no for an answer, and that's one of the reasons why she does such a great job. And so, thank you, thank you, thank you. So today, I get to proclaim that this is Nurse Practitioners Week in the Commonwealth of Virginia. What an opportunity to highlight a nurse's heart. And you all have a nurse's heart, so you know what one is. But for those of you that are not nurses, let me just be clear. A nurse's heart is a heart that is filled with a degree of empathy that is unmatched in society today. A nurse's heart also is filled with an input of boldness and directness, which oftentimes is unmatched other than drill sergeants. And that combination of empathy and boldness, coupled with the professionalism of being a nurse and being a nurse practitioner, is so unique today. And so it is my privilege to be able to declare this week Nurse Practitioners Week. And I have there we go, that's what I'm looking for. And I have a proclamation. And one of the governors get to do really fun stuff. We get to do ribbon cuttings and open up new buildings like we did for the Children's Hospital, which was amazing. We also have the opportunity to give speeches in really fun places. Like I gave a speech standing on what is the front porch of Mount Vernon, and as a Virginia native, to get to stand there and give a speech was a pinch me moment. This is a pinch me moment. To have a chance to be with all of you here at the VCU Nursing School proclaiming this Nurse Practitioners Week is very special for me. So I'm going to bore you all and read the whole thing because this is not just for you, it's for me too. So, by virtue of the authority vested by the Constitution and the Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, there is hereby officially recognized Nurse Practitioner Week. And whereas nurse practitioners are advanced practice registered nurses who have master's and often doctorate degrees, as well as extensive clinical training in the diagnosis and management of common and complex medical conditions. And whereas nurse practitioners provide high-quality primary, acute, and specialty care services while focusing on health promotion, disease prevention, health education, and counseling, as well as guiding patients to make smarter health and lifestyle choices every day. And whereas psychiatric mental health nurse practitioners who support the increasing demand for mental health and substance abuse services by diagnosing and educating patients, prescribing medications, and managing treatment plans have doubled in numbers since 2022. And whereas nurse practitioners work to expand access to care in underserved communities and reduce healthcare disparities is critical. And whereas there are more than 385,000 licensed nurse practitioners in the United States and more than 17,500 licensed nurse practitioners in Virginia. And whereas more than 3,500 nurse practitioners in Virginia are practicing with autonomous licenses, thereby increasing access to patient care in the Commonwealth. And whereas the confidence that patients have in nurse practitioner delivered health care is evidenced by the more than 1 billion visits made annually to nurse practitioners across the country. And whereas nearly 6 decades of research demonstrates the high quality of care provided by nurse practitioners. And finally, whereas better citizens of nurse practitioners, better utilization of nurse practitioners through modernized state laws and improved systems creates better health through a more accessible, efficient, cost-effective, and higher quality health care system. And now, therefore, I, Glenn Youngkin, do hereby recognize November 10th through 16th as Nurse Practitioner Week in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of all our citizens. Thank you. Amazing. Now I'm really going to bug everybody because I need all of you in a picture. And so if everybody would just stand up, and I want to get this stuff in the background because it's really cool, and kind of come fill in anywhere you can possibly fill in.